1923. Season 2 is the best release of 2025 so far, and I will die on that hill. The new season was not only epic because of the immense tragedies and the hardships that the Duttons went through, but also because its cast had the best chemistry ever. Especially the on-screen romance between Alex and Spencer was over the top and extremely believable, making us believe that these two people were truly in love. So much so that a lot of you guys are certain that this was basically the reflection of the real-life feelings that the actors, Brandon Sklenar and Julia Schlaepfer, had for each other. And honestly, the interviews that the duo give only proved this point, until a massive development occurred and basically declared the world that as 1923 ends, so does this alleged romance. So let's talk about it. I think none of you would be surprised to hear that chemistry came easily for Brandon and Julia on the set of 1923. So much so that their castmates thought they had been friends long before they were cast together. And you might remember that it was love at first sight for Spencer and Alex as well. So from the very beginning, the real life was reflecting on the screen. In an interview, Julia said that their chemistry in real life was just as immediate. We showed up for day one of cowboy camp, and everyone in the cast thought that we knew each other. It was like our first conversation, and I remember one of my friends saying, "Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. They cast two people who are super close already." And we were like, we just met. I mean, let's be honest. It is very rare to find people that you have the perfect chemistry with. So I can imagine the surprise that the duo felt at the time. Clearly, it's one of those rare magical things that happen when two people meet and click. And no, it wasn't just about the acting, even though, admittedly, they are both amazing actors. In an interview, Julia went on to explain how their bond grew deeper the more they spent time together, as she said. "We instantly just had a chemistry that was really special, and I think we both knew that we were about to embark on something really special. We both had this instinct to take care of one another and look out for one another." Of course, filming 1923 in Africa added an element of intimacy that only strengthened their connection. After all, they were only a group of people there and spent weeks together. So it is inevitable to form a close friendship, if not more. In fact, Julia fondly remembers how she and Brandon would spend hours bonding before the cameras even started rolling. She said, "We'd just go ride horses together every day. We'd eat all our meals together. We got manicures and pedicures once together." Apparently, it wasn't just about the physical distance from the rest of the cast, but also the emotional space they carved out for themselves, as she continued. "When we left for Africa, we were just by ourselves in Africa. So it was nearly impossible for us not to get thick as thieves. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but when I watch season 1 of 1923, I can clearly see this special bond between the two." So none of these words came as a surprise to me, as it was clear they were thinking very highly of each other. As you all know, the season 1 finale left Spencer and Alex separated, and throughout season 2, their characters continue to be apart, with each of them navigating their individual journeys. Therefore, Julia and Brandon had to adjust to the absence of the other during the filming of season 2. And they both admitted that this was, in its own way, a test of their connection. Brandon said, "It was a trip to be separated from her this season. It was her and I every day for season 1 for 5, almost 6 months." Similarly, for Julia, the shift in season 2 was a stark contrast to their time spent together in season 1. She said, "It was very separate. We barely saw each other. It was very much like suddenly we were ripped apart." But that's what the characters are going through. Clearly, they both hated filming the new season separately and missed each other's company. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels a bit naive to think that this is yet another co-casting relationship. Because how many of the cast members genuinely miss each other when they spend a few weeks separately? Honestly, I can't think of anyone else right now. Brandon himself admits that the journey he shared with Julia as one of the most transformative experiences of his life. He said, "It changed our lives, you know, personally and professionally. Spending almost 3 years with these people, growing with these characters, and shooting these emotionally charged scenes. It's been an incredible life experience. I mean, from these words alone, you can tell that the process wasn't just about creating a love story for the screen. It was about living it, too. Their bond was clearly real, and it shows in every scene they share together. That being said, right after the Season 2 maid finale, something has shifted in the air. The first move Julia did was to unfollow Brandon on social media, which was shocking since they were basically praising each other up on social media for months at this point. And then, even Julia's brother unfollowed him, showing that something personal has happened between the two that caused even the family members to be involved. Now, we all know that Brandon is in a long-term relationship with a personal trainer. And yes, it is simply too much to claim that he did something wrong that would harm his real-life romance. That being said, I personally think that there might have been some misunderstandings or line crossings between him and Julia that would lead to such a sharp reaction. Because let me ask you, why would you unfollow a coworker right after praising him for weeks if there was nothing alarming between you two? Am I right? Anyway, once again, the on-screen romance reflected on the real life, and as Alex and Spencer got separated, so did Brandon and Julia. For more weekly updates on 1923 and other Yellowstone shows, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.